When it comes to dogs you should fear, pit bulls are definitely at the top of the list. Pit bull terriers have a reputation as being the most dangerous, violent and uncontrollable of all the domesticated dog breeds. And believe it or not, this is in fact true. According to statistics, out of the 48 Americans killed by dogs in 2019, 33 of them were killed by pit bulls or pit bull mixes. Additionally, 13 out of the 33 victims were either the owner of the dog or a family member of the owner of the dog. And that's not all. Pit bull terriers are also famous for eating their owners. And when pit bulls attack, they are far more likely than other breeds of dog to finish the job, meaning they don't just bite. When a pit bull attacks, they typically maul the person to cause serious injury or even death. And in another startling statistic, in 2019, 26 American women were killed by dogs, and 16 of them were killed by pit bulls, meaning that pit bulls are the #1 killers of women in the dog family. They also happen to be the #1 canine killers of other pets, such as dogs and cats. But unlike what you might be thinking, the danger of a pit bull does not necessarily have anything to do with the owner. According to Time magazine, it's been estimated that there are 4.5 million pit bulls in the United States, meaning they make up less than 6% of the canine population. And still, they bite more humans than any other breed. What do you think? Do you think pit bull ownership should be outlawed or more regulated? Or do you think that they have an unfair reputation? Let me know in the comments. Then, be sure to subscribe to Epic Wildlife for more animal videos. This might be the most adorable mixed breed in the world, the chug. This is what happens when you mix a Chihuahua and a pug, and it's an animal like no other. You get all the fun playfulness of a Chihuahua mixed with the wacky eccentrics of a pug, all rolled into one of the cutest packages ever. If you can't make your mind up between adopting a pug or a Chihuahua, you don't have to anymore. The chug has all the best traits of both parents, making them ideal pets. They also go by some other cute names. Some people call this breed the Pughuahua or the Pugwawa, the last one being my all-time favourite. Despite these little fellas being tiny and a little weird looking, in a good way of course, they have a lot of energy. They make excellent pets for families, and young children can play safely with their chug. These dogs are typically more robust than a standard Chihuahua, and they definitely don't have the same nasally issues as a pug. They are great for living in an apartment, and they can be trained relatively well, and the best part is that they keep the classic Chihuahua standoffishness to strangers.
As one of the most intimidating looking dogs out there, it comes as no surprise that the Doberman has a prolific military history. These tough pups are known to be smart and fiercely loyal, and they have incredible guarding capabilities. Since they are just so dang smart, these dogs are very easy to train, making them perfect for military services. Their use in combat can be traced as far back as World War I as well as World War II. The Doberman had many jobs, including locating mines from the enemy, rescuing wounded soldiers on the battlefield, being guard dogs at camp, and delivering messages to different bases. Sadly, some were even used as suicide dogs. Similar to suicide bombers, the pups would be fitted with explosives and sent towards the enemy where they'd be detonated remotely. This is just one of the harsh realities of war. They served diligently, with one dog even receiving a letter of commendation from a US Lieutenant General. The Doberman's name was Rex, and he successfully warned troops in World War II of Japanese soldiers nearing their camp. The letter reads as follows: Rex's action was undoubtedly instrumental in saving the lives of many Marines. Rex and Dobermans like him will be remembered as treasured canine soldiers.
After years of study, scientists have come to the agreement that domestic dogs indeed originated from wild wolves. Of course, this was sometime between 20,000 and 100,000 years ago. That was when humans began selectively breeding dogs for help with hunting and for protection. And this is where the wolf dog comes in as a dangerous animal, as it is a hybrid of the dog that humans spent thousands of years modifying and the original wolf. Obviously, dogs and wolves are not the same animal. So, when you have a wolf dog, which is half wolf and half dog, you're going to get a mixed bag of character traits. And unfortunately, it's true that wolf dogs can be incredibly dangerous. Because there is so much wolf in the animal's genes, it may have a tendency to try and dominate you as it grows older, and this is what happens in the wild. Also, a wolf dog is going to have significantly more energy than a normal dog. This means that it will probably have a higher tendency to do things like hunt and attack. and when it comes to playing at the park, this could result in somebody's small child swiftly becoming prey. According to the CDC, between 1979 and 1998, there have been about 14 fatalities linked to wolf dogs. Next up is the Corgidor, a gorgeous mix between a Corgi and a Labrador Retriever. These don't seem like two dogs that would mix well, but they absolutely do, and the results are simply amazing. Corgidors have irresistibly cute eyes that will let them get away with just about anything. They are really the ultimate family dog, and they are going to get serious attention when walking on the streets or hanging out at the dog park for their unique appearance. Another fantastic thing about the Corgidor is their active lifestyle and loyalty, making them some of the best pets for those who have a lot of spare time. These dogs are very affectionate with kids, they are reasonably good with other dogs, and they can be loving to a fault sometimes. Just to be warned, the Corgidors have a terrible habit of shedding, but at least they don't drool. If you have a medium-sized yard and some time to spare, a Corgidor can definitely be your new best friend. Plus, these pups typically live from between 10 and 15 years, according to Dog Time. They are the perfect mid-sized dog to add to any family. Would you like to get one of these hybrid dogs? If you have a dog, what's it like? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you are new here.
Rottweilers are one of the oldest dog breeds on historical record, being traced back all the way to the Roman Empire. The origins of their name come from a small German town back in 73 AD. They were commonly used as guard dogs back then, and unsurprisingly, still are today. These pups are known for their willingness to work, paired with their incredible strength. Centuries ago, the Rottweiler was used to guard the money pouches of butchers, but their job responsibilities soon increased. Years went by and the dogs were used for anything from pulling carts to herding livestock. But when the Industrial Revolution hit and railroads started popping up, the demand for them dwindled. As countries started warring with one another and it seemed the whole world was against each other, their popularity saw a resurgence. In World War I, Rottweilers were used as police dogs for their reliability and ableness to obey commands. Later on, they got more jobs as messengers, rescue dogs, and in helping with drafts. These dogs have truly been good boys for millennia.
The Chihuahua is a significantly more frightening animal than people give it credit for. Yes, Chihuahuas are yippy and annoying and highly aggressive, but they can also be dangerous. A recent study reported in The Atlantic has revealed that Chihuahuas are consistently more aggressive in every situation than any other breed of dog. Out of 35 common dog breeds analysed in the study, Chihuahuas were the most aggressive dogs to other dogs that they had never seen before, making them the most standoffish out of any other breed. It's funny how the dogs with the most bark are the smallest. Of course, at the same time, Chihuahuas are ridiculously protective of their owners. It's really only strangers that need to worry about being bitten by a Chihuahua. And if you were wondering just how painful a true bite from a Chihuahua might be, you'll be pleased to know that the bite force of a Chihuahua has been estimated at around 150 pounds per square inch, which probably won't do much damage. But still, all that angry barking might give you a heart attack. I'd personally rather have a calm golden retriever or a chocolate lab, to be honest. A pomsky is nearly too cute to be real. With its bright, endearing blue eyes and soft fur, the pomsky is an amazing mixture between a Siberian husky and a Pomeranian. While appearances can vary, this dog is guaranteed to melt even the coldest heart. A typical pomsky comes with the colour and markings of a normal husky, but the fluffy coat of a Pomeranian. These dogs love attention. They are reasonably sized and suited for living in houses or apartments, and they are excellent for those who live a healthy and active lifestyle. If you love the unique look of a husky and the adorable fuzziness of a Pomeranian, you're going to absolutely adore a pomsky. These dogs live for up to 15 years. They have a high need for love, and they'll enjoy going on long hikes and walks with you. Out of all the mixed breeds, pomsky dogs are actually quite new, and they're rising in popularity because of how gorgeous they are, with many pomskys becoming instant stars on social media. It's hard not to look into the smiling face of a little pomsky puppy and not immediately want to cuddle it, right?
Probably one of the most common and well-known dogs in the service, the German Shepherd is a diligent breed. They were first used in the military by the Germans back in the early 1900s by Captain Max von Stephanitz. The captain created the breed by selectively breeding his most intelligent dogs. After many years, he had the perfect pup for the German police force. The shepherds showed great skill in tracking and were extremely obedient. Stefanitz thought his dogs could do more, and he was just in time to test their abilities out during World War I. German shepherds served as messengers in the field and alongside soldiers as ammunition carriers. They were even able to lead the wounded and those blinded by wounds to medical help. It was this work that led to the first seeing eye dogs. Impressed by the skillful dog's acts of heroics, the Americans and English began to create their own arsenal of pups. In World War II, the US used German shepherds as messengers, which led to canine training camps to pop up around the country. The training can last anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks for the dogs, and once they complete it, they are tested on a special training course. There are 4 main positions these dogs can have: scouting, patrolling, detecting bombs, or messenger. Upon completion of the course, they are sent alongside their handlers into war dog platoons. A special bond is formed between these dogs and the soldiers, to the point that they become more than just animals, but are comrades to those in military service. German shepherds have proved themselves to be man's best friend, no matter the front.
Stray dogs are dangerous. You never want to mess with stray dogs, especially when they run wild in Southeast Asia. It doesn't matter what breed the dog is. If it's a stray, it could be a hazard. Take the recent story reported in Asia 1, when a cyclist had to be taken to hospital after a group of wild dogs attacked him and another cyclist in Singapore, knocking one of the men into the gutter and causing serious injuries. And believe it or not, this is actually a huge issue in many parts of the world where there are roaming bands of stray dogs. In the wild, even dogs that were bred through domestication can turn into wild beasts. They travel in huge packs of up to a dozen. They can tear apart a human in seconds, just like a pack of wolves could. And in the case of the poor cyclist, they can knock you into the gutter and send you limping to the hospital. Stray dogs may look like they need some love and affection, but let them be brought to an animal control centre or adoption centre before you try to pet them. The Shorkie is a mixture between a Shih Tzu and a Yorkshire Terrier, and they are one of the smallest and most adorable dogs on the planet. These puppies are miniature, fierce, and very loyal. They make some of the best puppies for someone who lives in an apartment, for a family with small children, or for seniors. These are some of the cutest lapdogs you will ever find. And even though they can thrive in a family household, they are even better for a single-person household because of their extreme commitment to their owner. The only issue with a Shorkie is that they do tend to be very yappy, but if you want the best out of a Shih Tzu and a Yorkshire Terrier, you already know that you're going to be dealing with a very vocal animal. However, the tiny little Shorkie is not going to make a very good guard dog, unless maybe you're being attacked by a hobbit. These beautiful puppies only grow to be between 14 and 16 inches in height, they weigh a maximum of 15 pounds, and they are extremely playful. These dogs have a huge energy level, but they don't actually have a large need for exercise because they are so tiny and are generally happy running around the house. The Shorkie is such a loving and committed dog that you really can't leave them alone, so they're certainly not suitable for anyone who works all day. They need constant love and attention, or they can fall into a miserable depression, and that's the last thing you want with such a cute animal.
Another entry from the Shepherd family, the Belgian Malinois was bred for high energy and learning ability. These innate skills help them succeed in the toughest conditions, whether it be for detection, security, or protection. If you can believe it, some overachieving dogs even know how to skydive. On top of all of this, the Belgian Malinois has an amazing sense of smell, allowing them to rescue anyone in need. Their kind disposition makes them perfect for search and rescue work. And these clever puppies are even able to sniff out dangerous explosives. They're employed all over the world in Canada, the US, and even here down under in Australia. These pups are one of the best breeds in the world for use in military and security. Do you think your dog could be trained to skydive? Let us know in the comments below, and if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already.
If you've ever heard the expression, "the dingo ate my baby," you may have wondered how much validity there is to the statement. After all, did a dingo really eat a baby a long time ago to make people start saying that? And unfortunately, the answer is yes. In 1980, a dingo really did eat a baby. When the Chamberlain family went camping near the famous Ayers Rock in Australia, a dingo snuck into their tent, stole their 10-week-old baby, and ran off and ate it. Upon finding the baby gone, the mother supposedly screamed, "My God, the dingo's got my baby!" And that's where the expression comes from. But hold on to your socks, because this story gets insane. Lindy and Michael Chamberlain were found guilty in 1982 of murdering their daughter and blaming it on a dingo. It was a huge story in the 80s, and this is what really fueled the "dingo ate my baby" revolution. But the story didn't end there. In 1986, both their convictions were overturned when police found a jacket belonging to a small baby in an area that was populated by dingoes. It turned out that the dingo really did eat their baby, and both of the distraught parents were let out of jail. Just imagine losing your child and then being put in jail and accused of killing your own baby yourself. That has to be up there with the worst things that can happen to a person. But the point here is that dingoes are incredibly dangerous, and if you're camping in Australia, be sure not to let any of them in the tent with your baby. The Chiweenie is honestly so cute it makes my head hurt. This dog is a fun mix between a Chihuahua and a dachshund, and the way these dogs look is simply incredible. It's a sausage dog and a Chihuahua, and it doesn't get any more adorable than this. My favourite thing about the Chiweenie, other than its hilarious name, is that it is a serious case of small dog syndrome. But this is one of the reasons that we really love these dogs. Anyone who's been around Chihuahuas or sausage dogs will know that these little munchkins think they are way bigger than they really are, and this trait gets exasperated with the Chiweenie. They have pretty much no fear and will talk back to any bigger dog without hesitation. In fact, these dogs have a tendency to growl at anyone they don't know, to jump on people, to bark incessantly, and even to disobey your commands. But this is one of the reasons that we really love these dogs. And besides, if you properly train your Chiweenie, these nasty habits won't be a big issue. And at the end of the day, the Chiweenie is just too adorable to ever be mad at. This dog also has a huge heart and absolutely loves its family. Even if it is dismissive of strangers, that just shows how great of a loyal companion the dog really is. If you want an attractive, low-maintenance dog that fits nicely in an apartment and will growl at strangers, the Chiweenie is definitely the way to go.
This next listing will probably surprise a lot of you if you know anything about the breed. Yorkshire Terriers are very small dogs, so you might wonder how they could be of use to the military. Well, in World War II, one tiny terrier named Smokey did the unthinkable and served as a critical asset to American troops in the Philippines. At the Allied airfield located on the Lingayen Gulf of Luzon, Japanese plane attacks were doing a number on US communication lines. They were in desperate need of help to run new telephone lines through a small pipe that went 70 feet or 21 meters under the soldiers' feet. But the US soldiers had none of the right equipment, so the job would have left them completely vulnerable to attack and taken them days to complete. They did have one choice though, Smokey. The pup belonged to one of the men named Corporal Bill Wine, who adopted her in New Guinea. They tied a kite string onto Smokey's collar and sent her on through the pipe. Utilizing the string, the men were able to thread phone wires through the piping. That day, little Smokey saved over 250 men with her work. She would go on to continue service as a therapy dog for wounded veterans for many years. Smokey is a true inspiration to us all.
Huskies are some of the most beloved dogs in the world. However, huskies are also super dangerous and can do some serious damage. According to a law firm out of Philadelphia that specializes in personal injuries caused by canines, Siberian Huskies are one of the most dangerous breeds and are more often than not responsible for serious injuries that happen to children. Of course, Huskies are not nearly as dangerous as pit bulls, but between 1979 and 1998, there were allegedly 15 mauling deaths perpetrated by Siberian Huskies in the United States. And then there are Malamutes, which are larger than Huskies but often confused as being Huskies, which were responsible for 12 mauling deaths during the same period. It's not clear exactly why Huskies have such a tendency to attack children, but most dog experts will tell parents to keep their kids away from any adult Huskies, as they can apparently snap at any second. The Siberian Retriever is a gorgeous mixture between the Siberian Husky and a Labrador Retriever. It's also been known as the Husky Lab or Lab Husky, and it's a medium-sized dog that measures up to around 25 inches in height. Out of all the mixed dogs on the list, Siberian Retrievers are some of the most truly adorable animals, getting the best traits from both parents. They are fantastic companions, super playful and extremely affectionate. If you want a friendly dog with the beautiful eyes of a husky and the tenacious nature of a Labrador retriever, this is the animal for you. These dogs actually make great guide animals, and because they're so smart and obedient, they even work well as police dogs. The Siberian retriever has fantastic hunting instincts, so you definitely need to get them socialized at a young age, but they are far from unnecessarily aggressive. How could something so adorable be aggressive? The Siberian retriever is patient with kids, they're pretty good with other animals, and they have silky fur that can be any mix of black, white, grey or chocolate. Unlike some breeds mixed with Siberian huskies, these dogs typically have a coat of colour pattern more similar to the Labrador retriever, but they can still be born with the shockingly blue husky eyes.
Loyal and courageous, the giant schnauzer stands 70 centimeters tall and weighs about 43 kilos. They are fiercely hard workers and are employed as police, military, guide and rescue dogs all around the world. One such schnauzer named Brock worked as a part of former President Donald Trump's Secret Service detail. He was trained in the 341st Training Squadron at San Antonio Lackland, Texas. Although you wouldn't be able to tell now, Brock went down in history at the base as one of the hardest dogs to train. When first paired with his handler, Sergeant Dominic Young, Brock wouldn't follow commands and was very headstrong. Eventually, the pair formed a strong bond through hard work and became one of the best handler teams out there. Brock, like many of his Schnauzer brothers, knows what it means to work hard, which makes the giant Schnauzer an asset as a military dog breed.
African wild dogs are some of the most brutal canines on the planet. These dogs come from Africa and are savage hunters and scavengers that should be avoided at all costs. They're quite similar to hyenas in that they travel in packs and in larger numbers can be more dangerous than lions. But even in captivity, African wild dogs should be feared. Take the case from 2012, when a young boy was mauled to death by a pack of African wild dogs after falling into their enclosure in the Pittsburgh Zoo. The Pittsburgh Zoo argued that the death of Maddox Durkosh, who had only been 2 years old at the time, was due to negligence on the part of the mother. The fact is that the mother held the child up to give him a better view of the African wild dogs in their exhibit below the observation deck. Her son lurched forward and he slipped from her grip, and the dogs had an early meal. In the end, it was just a freak accident at an enclosure of very dangerous animals. According to New York Daily News, the Pittsburgh Zoo has since removed the African wild dogs and replaced them with a cheetah. What can I say about the Whoodle? It has a ridiculous name. It's a mix between a poodle and a Wheaten Terrier, and it is simply snuggable. These dogs are smart, just like poodles, but they are friendlier than most poodles, taking more after the terrier side of the family. This combination tends to produce real-life teddy bears. There is nothing better to cuddle on a cold night than your Whoodle puppy. In fact, you will probably have to get used to being harassed on the street by strangers who can't help but try to get a quick cuddle in on the go. Plus, these are fantastic dogs because they pretty much never shed. You don't have to constantly worry about being covered in dog hair, but you do need to groom your Whoodle on a daily basis. If you're confused about just how big a Whoodle is based on the pictures, these dogs can actually grow to be around 45 pounds. They aren't huge, but they definitely aren't small either. These are not dogs that like to sit on the couch and be lazy potatoes. They really prefer to be out at the beach, hanging out at the park, or taking a stroll along the boardwalk. These dogs have tons of energy, they love to play with toys, and a Whoodle can definitely be your best friend.
Everyone wanted the perfect hunting dog back in the 1800s, one that was super strong and able to keep up with its human partner. So, breeders began the task of breeding the now extinct Bull and Beaser with the English Bulldog, leading to the lovable boxer we have today. Their features were made for the art of hunting, with a wide jaw for latching onto prey, facial wrinkles to guard its eyes from blood splatter, and large nostrils for breathing while its mouth held animals. Back then, flat-faced dogs were thought to be very useful, but medical knowledge today shows us they usually have breathing difficulties. I mean, do you know anyone with a bulldog that doesn't snore? All of these traits helped the boxer serve as messenger dogs during World War I. They also helped carry supplies and packs to soldiers in need. After the nightmare of the Second World War, boxers were a popular choice in comfort and family dogs for returning veterans due to their strong disposition but family-friendly attitude.
The Yorkie Poo is a gorgeous designer dog crossed between a Yorkshire Terrier and a miniature poodle. There is really something magical about a smiling Yorkie poo puppy. These dogs have a huge spirit, they are lots of fun, and I would argue that they are a more exciting dog to raise than either a Yorkshire Terrier or a Poodle. Yorkie poo dogs are smart, gentle, and they make a delightful companion. These little dogs also fit nicely into an apartment, and you can even keep one on your basket while you ride around on your bicycle. Yorkie poo dogs absolutely love people, they love to go out and have fun, and they can even be taught how to perform tricks. Just be careful, as this dog is definitely going to show off for any visitor you have in the house. Yorkie poo dogs are extremely confident, and they can give you more love than you'll know what to do with. You can never go wrong adopting an adorable Yorkie poo.
Labs are known for their friendliness and are one of the most popular dog breeds in the world, but they also know how to work. During the Vietnam era, Labradors were used as trackers since they can tolerate heat and genuinely enjoy sniffing the ground. Whenever they found the target they were searching for, they would signal their comrades with a wag of the tail, ear twitch, tilting their heads, or stopping dead in their tracks. After reaching the age of 2 years old, the dogs would be sent into an 8-month-long training course. Once finished, they could serve up to 6 years in military action. In their training, they were never taught how to attack an enemy, they only knew how to fiercely defend their handlers in any circumstance. Oftentimes, their tracking ability would lead to finding wounded soldiers and even enemies if necessary. It's terribly sad to hear, but 6 labs were killed in action. And after the Vietnam War ended, the dogs were not allowed back into the US for fear that they may carry disease. Most of the labs were either euthanized or simply left in the country. It's truly heartbreaking, but these good boys and girls performed their duty, some until their very last breath.
The dalmachund may very well be the most adorable dog on today's list. This dog is a mixture between a Dalmatian and a dachshund, and the result is purely phenomenal. You get the lovable appearance of a Dalmatian mixed with the sausage body of a dachshund. What's really incredible is that the appearance and size of these dogs is greatly varied, with some dogs growing to be at least 43 pounds and others remaining very small at between 13 and 20 pounds. You never really know what you're going to get when you mix these two types of dogs together, but I guarantee the package is always going to please. These kinds of dogs don't shed very much, they have extremely high energy levels, and they are surprisingly easy to train. But the big bonus here is that your Dalmatian is going to be a real showstopper. There is no way you can go for a walk without your unique dog being ogled and adored by every person in sight. If you're a young single looking to meet someone else with a dog, this is definitely one way to make friends with strangers at the dog park.
Although other dogs on this list served as message carriers, the first ever messenger dog during World War I was Taki, a Belgian sheepdog. And no, not Taki like the chips. French military had begun using the sheepdogs, also known as Groenendaels, in 1914. In many battlefields, there were no transmission wires set for communication, so they had to rely on another method of correspondence, dogs like Taki. As the youngest trained dog they had, Taki was the test runner for message carrying. She was given a message written in code inside of a waterproof capsule. Thankfully, she made it through, setting the standard of service for other Belgian sheepdogs. Thanks to the hard work of Taki, other canines of her breed are now able to serve in police work as well as the military. Another noteworthy Belgian sheepdog was named Cairo, who worked with Navy SEAL Team 6 during the attack on Osama bin Laden. Popularly used as herding dogs, the Bouvier is a large and strong breed. They have a thick double coat that's water resistant and typically have a long beard-like tuft of hair around their mouth. In fact, another name for the dogs, Bouvier, literally translates to dirty beard. They were originally bred for herding cattle in the countryside of Flanders, Belgium. Their name actually means cow dog or cattle driver, and they were the ultimate all-rounder farm dog. Some of their farm duties consisted of guarding livestock, pulling carts, transporting goods, and some were even adept at churning butter. I hope they got a salary. But as hostilities grew and Belgium entered World War I, their responsibilities would shift in a whole new direction as Flanders would soon turn into a battleground. They served as message carriers and ambulance pullers. Sadly, many of the dogs would lose their life in the line of service, and the breed was on the brink of extinction. Thankfully, they would see a resurgence due to the hard work of some of the fans of the breed. Because of this, they were once again able to serve in World War II. Nowadays, Bouviers serve as police and service dogs thanks to their energetic, intelligent nature. Just like all of the other dogs on this list, the Bouvier is fit for the line of duty. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these heroic dogs? Any favorites? Let us know in the comments down below and click that thumbs up and subscribe button to see more fun videos like this. See you next time. Bye!